Hey there, friend. It's Miss Kristina over at the Corona Public Library, bringing another preschool story time. And today we have something super special. We're doing Star Wars reads. So today's stories are all about Star Wars. Are you ready? Me too. Okay, so today's stories are both going to be from 5-Minute Stories, Star Wars, Strike Back. Our first story, Star Wars, A New Hope, A Journey Begins. The droids C-3PO and R2-D2 were having a bad day. The evil Empire, led by Sith Lord Darth Sidious and his second-in-command, Darth Vader, had taken control of the galaxy. Imperial stormtroopers had attacked C-3PO and R2-D2 ship, and the droids had only narrowly escaped Vader's clutches. Now they were stranded on the desert planet of Tatooine, with no hope of rescue. "I've got to get rest before I fall apart," C-3PO complained. R2-D2 turned down a dark, rocky path. "Where do you think you're going? This way is much easier," C-3PO said, pointing in the opposite direction. But R2-D2 just beeped back at his friend. He was on a mission, and he couldn't be stopped. "What mission? What are you talking about?" C-3PO asked. R2 wouldn't answer, so the golden droid refused to follow him. Soon, the little blue and white astromech droid had left C-3PO far behind. But the rocky path was dangerous, and R2-D2 rolled right into a trap. With an electrified blast, a small Jawa scavenger froze R2-D2. The droid couldn't move. Jawas carried R2-D2 to their sandcrawler. The little droid was surrounded by salvaged junk and other strange droids. R2 was worried. Where was the Jawas taking him? And see the sandcrawler all the way in the back? I wonder what's going to happen. Luckily, R2-D2 wouldn't have to find out alone. The Jawas had captured C-3PO too. The two friends stayed close together as the sandcrawler stopped and the Jawas lined up the droids outside. The droids were going to be sold. An older man, Owen Lars, and his young nephew, Luke Skywalker, examined the droids. The man motioned to C-3PO and a small red droid. "Luke, take these two over to the garage. I want them cleaned up before dinner," he said. Luke led C-3PO away. R2-D2 beeped in alarm. He didn't want to be separated from his friend again. Suddenly, the red droid started to spark. It was broken. C-3PO convinced Luke to choose R2-D2 instead. "Now, don't forget this," C-3PO said to R2-D2, as the droids followed Luke. "Why I should stick my neck out for you is quite beyond my capacity." As he was cleaning the droids, Luke found something jammed in R2-D2's data input. He tugged and he pulled, and suddenly a small hologram appeared. The hologram showed a young woman who looked very important. "Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope," she said. Luke asked R2-D2 where he had gotten the message, but R2 wouldn't answer. "She looks really important, huh?" Luke asked his aunt and uncle about Obi-Wan Kenobi. The only Kenobi Luke knew was Ben Kenobi, an old man who had lived out in the desert near Luke's family for as long as Luke could remember. But Luke's uncle told him to ignore the message. He needed Luke to help him on the farm, not to be thinking about strange messages and planets and people far away. Luke was frustrated. He walked outside and watched as the suns set beyond the desert. He had hoped that R2-D2's message would be the start of an exciting adventure that would take him far away from the boring life that he had always known. It looked like he would be stuck on Tatooine forever. It's a pretty sunset, isn't it? Luke was destined for an adventure after all. R2-D2 had escaped. I told him not to go, C-3PO told Luke. But he's faulty. Kept babbling on about his mission. Luke couldn't believe it. If his uncle found out he had lost one of the new droids, Luke would be in big trouble. Early the next morning, Luke and C-3PO raced into the desert to find R2-D2. They caught up to the astromech droid, but suddenly dangerous sand people attacked them. Luke was about to be captured when a loud sound echoed across the rocks. Startled, the sand people looked up to see a strange robed figure quickly approaching. The frightened sand people ran away. R2-D2 whistled in alarm as the figure approached Luke. But when the figure lowered its hood, a man's friendly face was revealed. "Hello there," the man said. "Don't be afraid." Ben Kenobi?" Luke asked. The old man nodded and revealed that he was also known as Obi-Wan Kenobi. R2-D2 beeped. His mission was almost complete. Obi-Wan led Luke and the droids to his small hut. He told Luke he used to be a Jedi Knight and had fought beside Luke's father during the Clone Wars. The Jedi had all disappeared long before, but they had once fought for peace and justice in the galaxy using a mysterious energy field called the Force. Luke didn't know much about Jedi Knights or his father. "He was a good friend," Obi-Wan said, "which reminds me, I have something for you." Obi-Wan gave Luke his father's lightsaber. The blade ignited with a whoosh. Luke smiled. The lightsaber felt right in his hand, as if he was meant to have it. Obi-Wan turned to R2-D2. It was time to find out what the young woman's message was. With a simple push of a button, the hologram reappeared. But this time, R2-D2 played the full message. The young woman, Princess Leia, was part of the rebellion that was fighting against the evil Empire. R2-D2 and C-3PO had been on board Leia's ship before it was captured by Darth Vader. Princess Leia had hidden important information in R2-D2's memory banks before the two droids escaped. She needed Obi-Wan to take R2-D2 safely to her home planet of Alderaan to help the rebellion. Ooh, sounds exciting, doesn't it? Obi-Wan asked Luke to go along with him on this new mission and become a Jedi just like his father before him. Luke agreed to help Obi-Wan and R2-D2. He didn't know what was going to happen next, but he knew that his life was about to change forever. Oh. The end. Okay, it's time for a song, and we're going to do the Muffin Man. Do you know the Muffin Man, the Muffin Man, the Muffin Man? Do you know the Muffin Man who lives on Drury Lane? Yes, we know the Muffin Man, the Muffin Man, the Muffin Man. Yes, we know the Muffin Man who lives on Drury Lane. Muffin Man, the Muffin Man. Muffin Man, the Muffin Man, the Muffin Man. Do you know the Muffin Man who lives on Drury Lane? Yes, we know the Muffin Man, the Muffin Man, the Muffin Man. Yes, we know the Muffin Man who lives on Drury Lane. All right, you guys, good job. Okay, time for our second story. So we're still on 5-Minute Stories, Star Wars Strike Back. Our second story is going to be Star Wars The Last Jedi, captured in Canto Bight. The Resistance was in trouble. The First Order had found a way to track the Resistance through hyperspace. With the First Order tracking them, they couldn't escape. Finn and a fellow Resistance fighter, Rose, had flown to the glamour city of Canto Bight on the planet of Cantonica. They were there to find the Master Codebreaker, who could help them sneak on board the First Order ship that was tracking the Resistance and disable the tracking device. But they had been captured by the Canto Bight police for crashing on a private beach, and they were locked in prison. Time was running out. Finn and Rose needed to escape to help the Resistance. See, they're stuck. What do you think they're going to do? Just then, a strange character inside Finn and Rose's prison cell roused. He called himself DJ, and he had been listening to Finn and Rose's troubles. He said he could help them. Finn wasn't too sure. DJ didn't look like much of a code breaker, but the thief promised he was well versed in the First Order's ever-changing code system. For the right price, DJ said he would get them out of the prison cell and sneak them on board the First Order Star Destroyer. As Rose and Finn decided what to do, BB-8 quietly rolled into the prison. He hadn't been captured yet, and he knew he needed to save his friends. Good thing the police were preoccupied with a game of cards. See him rolling on by? Finn and Rose decided to trust DJ. They didn't have too many options, and the Resistance needed them. After DJ pressed a few buttons and smacked the cell door open, Finn and Rose were shocked. But then they were all shocked to find that the 3 guards had been tied up by BB-8. DJ applauded BB-8's handiwork, but there wasn't time for celebrating as more guards were running towards them. In all the chaos, Finn and Rose lost track of DJ and BB-8. They wanted to find their friends, but they needed to get away from the police before they were thrown back in prison. Finn and Rose ended up in a stable, but it wasn't just any stable. It was a fathier stable. Fathiers were magnificent creatures, but the wealthy patrons of Canto Bight only wanted to watch them race one another around a track. The people didn't care much about how they were treated. They just wanted to be entertained. When the fathiers weren't racing, they were kept in stables, not unlike the prison that Finn and Rose had just escaped. Finn and Rose befriended the stable boy. He wanted to help the Resistance too. See how big the fathiers are? Don't they look so cool? When the police reached the fathier's stable, the stable boy pressed a button and all the stable doors suddenly opened, freeing the mighty fathiers. The entire herd raced out of the stable, with Finn and Rose riding on the back of the lead fathier. The animals were fast, and they seemed to run even faster now that they were free. The herd of fathiers raced around the track and then crashed through the intrinsic glass window in the grand hall of Canto Bight. Patrons scattered this way and that way as the massive creatures crushed their finery underfoot. That's a lot of destruction. Then the herd ran out into the street, leaving a path of beautiful destruction in their wake as they trampled over sporty speeders. But the police were following close behind. Finn and Rose needed to break away from the city. Finn and Rose led the herd out to a sea cliff. The fathiers ran even faster in the wide open space. Rose noticed that the police were letting the rest of the herd go to focus their attention on Finn and Rose. See how the others are able to get away? Suddenly, Finn and Rose father slammed to a stop at the edge of a cliff, throwing Finn and Rose to the ground. Rose thanked the father. Then the animal ran away freely into the night. Finn and Rose were trapped. The Cantobite police would soon catch them, and all hope for the resistance would be lost. But they had freed the fathiers. They had done the right thing. Just then, a sleek ship rose from behind the cliff in front of Finn and Rose. A hatch opened, and BB-8 appeared. DJ and BB-8 had come to the rescue. Rose and Finn jumped into the ship right as the police arrived. They had escaped. Finn and Rose and BB-8 could continue their mission to stop the First Order, help the resistance, and save the galaxy. The end. Okay, so we're going to do a song, and now we're going to do If You're Happy and You Know It.
If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, and you really want to show it. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, stomp your feet. If you're happy and you know it, stomp your feet. If you're happy and you know it, and you really want to show it. If you're happy and you know it, stomp your feet. If you're happy and you know it, shout hooray! Hooray! If you're happy and you know it, shout hooray! Hooray! If you're happy and you know it, and you really want to show it. If you're happy and you know it, shout hooray! Hooray!
Alright, this time we're going to do all three.
If you're happy and you know it, do all three.
Stomp, stomp.
Hooray! If you're happy and you know it, do all three. Hooray! If you're happy and you know it, and you really want to show it. If you're happy and you know it, do all three. Hooray!
And now it's craft time. Today, we're going to be making Yoda ear headbands created by Elizabeth Stamp. Here is her YouTube channel in case you want to follow along as she makes a Yoda headband or see what else she has to offer. Some of the supplies we're going to need are paper, green or colored green, tape, glue, scissors, a ruler, and a pencil. The first thing we want to do is use our ruler as a guide. We're going to make 3 bars of green paper, and then we're going to cut those out, and we can glue them all together to make one long piece of paper, but you might only need 2. Once we have that long piece of paper, we're going to use that and measure our head, and we're going to cut off the excess of the headband and glue or tape together the 2 ends. Now we're going to take another piece of green paper. We're going to fold it in half so we can draw on our ears. And here is a picture of Yoda so you can see the shape of the ears. Be sure to leave a little bit on the bottom to easily fold so we can attach it to our band. Once we have that, we can cut out the ears. Once we have our ears, fold the end at the bottom that will be connected to the band, folding backward. Double check that your ears are mirroring each other. and looking right. And now we can decorate our ears in case you want to add any details of the inside of the ear. Now it's time to put everything together. Miss Elizabeth suggests going slightly in front of the middle, but you go ahead and play with it, see what you like. We can add glue to the headband once we're ready and press the ear onto the band. Use tape to make it extra secure, and now you have your Yoda ears. And that's it for today, but we have lots of other virtual story times just waiting for you on our YouTube channel, or go to cityofcorona.com/library for additional e-media. You can also participate in our Click, Park, and Pickup, or make an appointment to browse the bookshelves yourself. See you next time!